Fuck. Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I finally received the last part of my turbo upgrade. So just to give you a backstory, in Australia the MK4 GTIs came only with an AGU engine. So that engine code has the oldest style drive-by-wire or drive-by-cable, and the ECU is a lot older as well. So there's a few less sensors. It only measures a few basic oxygen sensors, and it's just hard to tune and fine tune everything for fueling. So with that said, it still can be tuned. You just need to find the right people who can still do it in this day and age. And I've been collecting parts throughout the journey. Alrighty, so let's just go through some tools I used for the turbo swap. My favourite one is the electric wrench for pretty much everything. Obviously screwdrivers, I've got one of these torque socket sets. This is a 6mm Allen key socket to remove the hard to get turbo bracket. Another Phillips, screwdrivers are great to get some clips off. H8 for any of the banjo bolt feeds. I think this is a small hex socket of some sort. Hang on. And that's to get the hex bolts out. Couple of extensions, not a couple but a fair few. Magnet to find stuff. 12mm small shallow socket for the for the manifold. 12mm also for the manifold. These are for the clips. This is hard to get bits in the manifold as well. A little wobbly bit or U-joint. 8mm for the clips again. Some extensions. 19mm. I don't think I'd use that. I did use a 17mm. 17mm for pretty much everything. Downpipe bolts, downpipe connector, shield. 17mm wrench, 12mm again for the I just got different bits for the manifold in case I needed it. Socket tools. This is for the manifold, 17-inch with 17mm with a offset, bit of an offset. 14mm, 13mm, another extension. And some just adapters I used. And if you want to get some of the washers off the banjo bolts, I just use vice grips and just gripped it off. This I used for the downpipe, the really big O2 sensor. And again, those are the main bits. That'll get you out of trouble. To remove your turbo, but obviously just get a set of whatever and you should be fine. But yeah, so really recommend having this. That saves a lot of time. You can do it by hand, but gosh, it's going to be annoying. But yeah, I hope that helps you out. Alrighty, so if you've watched a few episodes, you would have seen that I did purchase or did find a K03s in one of the Mark IV Australian group. One of the blokes there happened to have one from a Polo GTI, which is relatively going to be the same. I've got the ECU that came in just this morning actually, and it's from a person in New South Wales, in Sydney actually, who had a tune for the K03s, and I sent it to a good person, Ian, who normally does all of the hardcore stuff inside the ECU, removes it, turns off the immobilizer, and then reinstalls everything. So that's off to him. During the install, I'm going to install this silicone inlet hose, so it'll set like that, and help with the intake. If you are doing this, make sure that you get a pack of brass washers, so that every connection to the turbo, any banjo bolt, will require two brass washers. And I'm told that the brass washers seal better. I am going to take the turbo out from the top, so you will, it's recommended that you get a replacement exhaust manifold, because you will take that off, or I'm going to take it off, remove the turbo from the top, and then put a new gasket in. Got some clamps for the silicone hose, inlet hose, just to replace all of the standard VW bits. Some gaskets for the downpipe and the exhaust manifold to the turbo. So because you're taking the turbo off the manifold, the old gasket needs to be changed. So I've got a few of those, and also got some gaskets for the water and the oil line in there as well. And last but not least, I am going to get this exhaust, remove the downpipe in this process, take it to an exhaust shop or take it to a welder to weld the sports cat, 200 cell sports cat on, just to make my exhaust system legal again. It was fun having it decatted, but the smell is annoying and not really that great for the environment. So, and just some few extra bits and bobs, bolts if I need some, manifold bolts, downpipe bolts, oil filter, because I'm going to drop the oil and the coolant. So make sure you've got enough oil and coolant for later on. So I'm going to start with dropping the oil. So when you're dropping the oil, make sure that you've got all cap off, usual dipstick loose, so that it drains quicker. Okay, I'm going to drop the coolant as well, so I'll undo that and keep that loose. Okay, so to do this install, bit of an overview. Start at the top, remove all of this side bit, so airbox comes off, all of the connecting bits, engine cover, charge pipe goes under, so start connecting everything on the top, and then you can make your way down the bottom and undo the turbo, the lines, the charge pipe, the bracket to the block, all gets done underneath the car. So the whole process to remove and install a new turbo is around 9 hours, they reckon, but I'm just going to take my time and do it over the course of the week. So yeah, let's start with the oil. Right, so I'm going to drop the oil. everywhere. Ah. Coolant everywhere, man. Don't love that. I only just use this coolant. It's pretty new, so I'm going to try and keep as much as I can. And then just top up the rest. Fuck. Alrighty, so we're going to clear all this. Take as much space as we can. Alright. Right, so what else do we have to get off? We have to take all of this, all these clips off, so I'm going to need a flathead and maybe some cutters. So start with N75, see if we can get inside the little ribbon. Don't know if you can see that, but I'm just going to pry it out. It's pretty hard to come off if you try and just to chop it off or force it out. So this is a case where you know, work smarter, not harder. So I'll tell you, I'll get the clip off and I'll show you what I mean. It's a pain in the ass if you try to just squeeze it together and chop it off. You can, but you end up just wasting too much energy. Alright, so clip looks like that. Get your screwdriver in, twist it and create some room around the side and just work your way through each of the holes and loosen it up, and eventually it just frees itself. So that's one that needs to go in the bin. In fact, I need to take all this stuff off. So this is called the N75 valve. You don't want to stuff it up or break the pins, which I've seen a couple of people do. In fact, I might just undo that to keep it safe. On the side, and that controls the boost. So AGU engines don't have any boost maps or anything like that, so it doesn't really know how much boost it's running. The ECU will just try and fill up the cylinder with as much as, you know, fuel and air as much as possible. So it's sort of guessing by calculating how much air is coming in through the mass airflow sensor, and then sort of dumping as much fuel as it can to match up with it, and then hoping the turbo will spool up the correct amount of boost. So that's why I said it's a bit ancient tech, but still works. You know, if you're not going too crazy or going big turbo, if you're just sticking with bolt-ons, so that's on and off. Just sticking with bolt-ons, something that's been tried and true, yeah, you can still get the job done with this ECU. You venture outside of that realm a little bit, and you're going to have to get either a custom ECU or upgrade your ECU to something a bit newer. That the newer, some of the other markets got, like Europe got newer Mark 4 GTIs that had the slightly more advanced secondary air intake or secondary air injection. It had map sensor, so it knows exactly how much boost it's asking for and how much is coming in. So you know, that ECU, which is called the ME7.5, E for E throttle, which means the throttle is controlled by, I'll leave that attached actually, that's fine. Yeah, E for E throttle, so this is the M3.8, there's no E, it uses a cable, unfortunately. So I'm just doing the same strategy here, getting the screwdriver in, and just twisting it and working my way through each of those clips. Now these clips aren't bad. You know? It's a one-hit wonder, one-track wonder. Use it once, it stays there for good, but not good for customizing other things. So you can't reuse it. That's the only downfall. Once you sort of get used to taking clips, it's really not that bad. You know, people complain about it a lot, saying it's annoying and whatnot. Okay, that's the diverter valve. That's going to help regulate the excess boost pressure that it has. That's off. Okay. Ah, interesting. So I'll leave that connected, I think. Leave that connected. Try and get the screwdriver in there if I can. If not, no, I don't think so. Oh, that's interesting. There's a couple of clips here. Last I checked, it's running quite well still, so I'm going to keep the Bosch diverter valve. It's really good for a bit of tune as well. Keep that together. I'll just check that on the side. Right, so taking all that off. There is a heat cover for the turbo charge pipe. Okay, it's stuck by, it's got like, I don't know, buttons on there. Just undo the buttons. Yeah, it's like you're taking your jacket off. Undo the buttons. There you go. That just comes off to give you space so that we can. So right, I think I'm going to need a 7mm, just a weird size. And that's what it is. Come on, do it with a wrench. There you go. That's off as well. Keep that up there. Unfortunately, my electric wrench doesn't work. Try and take this jacket off. It's coming off like that. There you go. I think that's. Did I rip it? I think I did. That's unfortunate, but that's the heat shield for the turbo. Now, that means I've got some more okay, so I think that's a size 10. There we go. One support on. There you go. Try and leave the bolts with the brackets if you can. I'm going to say there's probably like a 13. Okay, so that should be nice and loose. Okay, so I think as far as I can remember, that's ready. Oh, there's another. Seems like there's always. Another bracket. I think I can reach that from the bottom. So what I'm doing now is just loosening the support bracket. Oh, it's loose. Yeah, so this bracket just pretty much holds the boost pipe from the turbo elbow. And you can see it. Okay, so two brackets off, top and bottom. Right, so that should. So now I'm going to get underneath the car and remove the boost pipe and the inlet, and yeah, let's go for a ride. So this part here is the oil return line. I'm just going to break that, and oh, that's it loose. Oh, just in. Okay, while I'm there, or while I'm under here, take that off and try and get as much oil out as possible. So there you go, just like that. There you go. Bit of drippage there, that's all part of it. We're going to reuse this line because our Polo GTI turbo lines don't fit the MK4 GTIs, so we'll reuse these braided lines again, hard lines. Well, not hard lines, sorry, but braided lines. And what I like to do here is use my son's old socks, just block that feed so it doesn't drop all over me when I'm working on the car. It'll be annoying as once you're underneath. Okay, so that part should be done. Move the oil pan out of the way, and now we can have a good look at the car. So, got a couple of tools here. I think that's going to fit. Oh, bang on. That's a 16 mil. Where's the? Ah, there it is. Okay, put that up a bit. So we're going to just remove the heat shield from the car. Pretty simple stuff. Just watch your eyes when you're doing this. A lot of the stuff, debris and just shit is going to come down and hit your eyes. I've got some glasses that I should use, but I can't be bothered getting it. Alright, so take that off. Keep the bolts with the... Good practice is to keep the bolts with the bits that you take off. So I'll put it back on. Leave it at the back there. And now I've got access to all of these this space. So can you see that? Right, so there's a boost hose in there. It's just a Jubilee clip. I'm going to remove it with my flathead screwdriver, or 7mm, whichever's your choice. I'm probably going to use my 7mm, man. Honestly, it's just easier. There you go, that's in. So I've loosened the Jubilee clip that goes to the pancake pipe. Oops, you can't see because of the socks. Pancake pipe doesn't have to go, but that has to be loose, I think at least, so that we can work it off the boost pipe at the top. So I think that's it. This is loose enough. That should be. Yep, that's loose. That's off any bracket. That's ready to come out from the top. Okay, that's a boost pipe. Now, see. I didn't have those in there, I would have been eating oil. So the next thing is to get a little ratchet, and this is to get the, can't see, can you? Around. Right, so that's where this is. I'm looking directly underneath the turbo now. Like that's the oh shit, can't see. That's the downpipe, which we need to loosen, which I'll do in a bit. Gonna be a pain in the ass, but I think while I'm at it, I'll just remove the downpipe so I can get some stuff welded on. What's it called? I was saying, inlet pipe is held on by the one bolt there, and then you just need to pry it up a bit. So I'll do that now. It's a bit hard, there's no space, so where's my screwdriver? just reach in with this. It is there. Okay, that's going to allow me to take off the inlet pipe. I'll do that now. So that bolt's off. I've used a flathead screwdriver and just pried it open. So now I should be able to go up top, remove the boost pipe, remove the inlet hose, and that should be heaps of room. So I'll do that now. Right, we are back again. Can't see that, so the hose that we just took off should now just pry off. That's for the inlet hose. Okay, that's done. So there's only one more click below, and you can use the needle nose pliers to get that off. So don't know if you can see that, but this is the same as when you're getting the you're doing the inlet hose for the silicone. If you're just upgrading the silicone, don't know why you would, but if you are, that's how you do it. Okay, I'll transfer this N75 thing later. Actually, I might do it now. N75. So this is now keep the clamp. Okay, it's done. And this top hose, I dare say, is ready to come off, because that is going to come off now. Okay, so I just got the charge pipe out. Needs a bit of a clean. It's really gunked up. Just degrease it or something. Oop. Bit of an update. Just finished removing making space on the side where the airbox was. We removed the inlet hose that goes to the turbo down there. Okay, so that's pretty much done. We removed the boost pipe that goes above the turbo to the elbow to the pancake. That part's gone. We're going to have to remove this elbow off, which is quite easy. And yeah, we should have access to the turbo. So yeah, just soldier on. Alrighty, so just below the bracket for the charge pipe, there is a bracket for the heat shield and for the boost pipe. That's for the top end, and there should be another one down here somewhere. I can reach it. If I can. Oh. Yes, I can. So that just provides another layer of heat shield against the manifold. Right, back underneath the car again. Just going to loosen the downpipe bolts and get rid of the downpipe connector there as well, so I can remove the his downpipe off and get it welded up. So I have a video on this already. I'm not going to show this in time lapse or anything, just to, it's going to bore you guys. I'll just cut to when it's all removed. Righty, righto. So bit of an update here. It's a new day, by the way. I had to go and take the kids out to the park. Yeah, daddy duties. But new day, downpipe is off, and that gives me access to all of the manifold bolts below. You can get some tools up there, believe it or not. You can get your mechanic's electric wrench up there, which is super helpful. So what I'm going to do now is take the manifold bolts to the turbo off at the top. Yesterday I actually sprayed a bunch of WD-40 everywhere. I just went crazy on all the bolts, and now it should give me some make it loose enough for me to crack open and use my electric wrench to just loosen all the bolts off. So I'll go and do that now. I'll jump up on top of the engine and just let you know, just to show you what it looks like as well in a bit. Rightio, so we've got access to the top, and if I can get my phone in there, those are the 3 bolts you need to take off. That connects up to the engine. Sorry, not the engine, that connects up to the turbo. Exhaust manifold to the turbo side. And yeah, so if I show you where the bolts are, there's 2 here, 2 there, 2 there, and I think there's 1 there, and also 1 hidden down there. So I'm going to go through and crack open all of those bolts before I start to buzz everything off. Okay, let's see if I can just show that on video. Right, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to try and put it in as much as I can. Right, so first bolt is here. That's loose. Yep. That's loose. I have to feel it now. Yep. Crack. That's open. Oh, bit of resistance. Oh, nice crack. Oh, nice crack again. I reckon I'll get a bit. It's better. So hopefully. Oh, can you still see? Yes, you can. That's loose. And I might have to get. Doesn't fit. Of course you do. Yep, that's done. It's loose. That's loose. It's loose. bolts out. It's one, I think, make sure you get the washer, it's very thick. Got that one. Two. Sorry, that's three. Oh. Dropped one. Washer. Oh, that's thick. Right. So here. Mind you guys, I'm doing this all by feel. You actually can't see shit when you're doing the manifold bolts. All the ones that I've done it by feel. But having said that, there's room. It's not too cramped. But you will drop some stuff, only because you can't see shit. Lots of room to work in, but there's no room to sort of look, stick your head down and look. So, very nice. Right. I quite like this. This to me is a fun mod. And this electric wrench has been a lifesaver. It's nice and grimy in there. How'd you get stuck in here? Ah. Weird. Take the extension off, I think. Right. Try a deep socket. There we go. Deep socket for the win. So that's a bit of a old school gaming term. Played too many games back in my day. Lots of StarCraft, Warcraft, Counter-Strike, Jetta. So excuse me if I'm nerded out a bit. Alright, so that's the top manifold bolts off. Get underneath the car and we're going to get our sockets in between. There's one spot in between the turbo. If I can reach my hand in there with my other hand. So you got to get your tool in there, tool in there, and I think then you can reach these two and that single one over there pretty easily because you can see them. But the other ones you're going to have to do it by feel. So I normally just grab my little short extension and I might have to grab this thin one. So what you will have to do is just grab your socket and chuck it on from the bottom and then work your way undo it from the top. I'd say it's probably easier. These are easy, so let's see if I can undo the other bolts by feel. It's probably the toughest. Well, it's not the toughest actually, it's one of the trickiest with one hand, but okay, I'm going to undo one bolt. I think there's two in there, two there, and one over there. So I've got to use two hands unfortunately. And when I'm done, I'll so what I like to do again is just to pop the socket on, go to the top and undo the bolt. And if you can reach the bolt, great. If not, just let it drop down and grab a magnet and just try and find it somewhere. Alrighty, if you're up to this stage, good luck. Right, so I've got the socket on. I don't know if you can see, but where's the socket gone? There it is. Oh, it was a swing bin. Not a swing bin, is it? Nope. There it is, just sticking out. So I can just buzz that off now. Okay. Right, just got another one on. This one you can do from the top, just feeling your hand. Crack it open. There you go. Right, back again with another update. So the last one that I forgot is actually in here. So you're going to need a really small extension with a really small 12mm bit to fit through the coolant and oil lines just below here. It's tricky, you've actually got to feel it. I took a photo of it, but you need to feel feel what it is, and then yeah, go ahead and try and loosen it up from there. So you need, the extension's probably that big. The long ones can't sort of negotiate through for whatever reason, but yeah. And then once you get it in, feel for it, make sure it's on properly, which it is. I can't twist it. And now I'm going to just crack it open first and then buzz it off. Alrighty. Alright, so next I'm going to use a breaker bar with the extension and socket bit that goes on top, and I'll just break them all, crack them all open and buzz them off. Right, so all of the bolts are quite loose. I'll leave these on to support the turbo a bit. I'm going to take the bracket off underneath. The manifold is loose. Grab a Allen key set. Oh, by the way, for the manifold bolt that's closest to the block, that one, I just used a wrench that sort of has a bit of an offset, so you can get in there, grip it on and torque it off. Otherwise the socket set won't actually fit. But going underneath the car again, and this one you're going to need your glasses, because inevitably all the shit's going to come flying down on your face. There are two Allen. This is probably everything else is pretty easy, but this is a pain in the ass. You're going to need ball set of some sort. Yeah, I don't know the size of this. Take a punt on size. It's probably an 8mm. I don't know. Oh. Right, so all bullshit aside, you're going to get your 6mm Allen. Try and crack it open. Fuck. Okay, that's not gonna work. We have to give it a bit of a better angle. Oh man, working with one hand is a pain in the ass. So this is the only bracket that bolts the turbo to the block, other than the manifold. So yeah, it's one of those things, man. Get this line out of the way. Oh, just felt something drop on my eye. Luckily I had glasses. Fuck, man. Ah, crack that. Fucking good crack. Don't you love it? When. Okay, that's done. You can probably undo that with your finger. Grab another Allen. Crack the shit out of that one too. And that looks like it may very well come out with the hands too. So I'm going to use 2 hands now to try and get this bastard out. But yeah, that's job's almost done, guys. Oh shit! Tastes good. That tastes good. Tastes great. Bit of grease. Bit of shit. Mind you, this is a pain to get off, but it's also a pain to get on as well. So, because it never threads, these bolts. I think I spent like 2 hours trying to thread the my last turbo swap in the A3. A3's got, oh, that's awesome. Tasted that one too. That tasted like a bit of bacon. Oh, that's straight to the face. That's okay. It's quite small. I'd rather the bacon, but that's okay. Alright. Alright, I'm going to put the phone down. I'll continue on when this is off. Alright, I got the Allen bolts out. I mean, I was complaining about it, but it's not that bad. Honestly. Only took like 10 minutes. No, not even 10 minutes, 5 minutes to take out. If you're up to this bit, well done. It means you're on your way home now, well and truly. There's going to be some shit dropping on the ground soon. Fluids, I mean. So, that should be the manifold sliding out. That's the last one that I couldn't get to at the bottom. Give yourself a pat on the back, because that's turbo's coming up next. Shit everywhere. And I got the all important washer. Right. So now you've got the manifold off, you've got access to. Oh, this doesn't look too bad. Actually, it's fucked. Yeah, it's fucked. There's probably a leak there too. Right, so you've got access to the lines. Undo the lines. I think there's one back here somewhere as well. That's there it is. Where is it? Alright, so there's one there. I think there's one underneath. But that's an Allen key, or Allen socket. And I think there's another one next to it. Yep, that's also another one next to it. There's 2 Allen sockets. Yeah, let's grab those off. Already going underneath the car. There's one more line there. I think that's a coolant one, so that's going to be a pain in the ass. that is going to fly. Drop all coolant and shit everywhere. So, I'm gonna grab a bucket. Before I do this, to catch all the unwanted stuff. There it is. Bucket done. I'll undo that and continue on with the video. Alrighty, so while we're waiting for that, we're going to do the top one. There's two. As I said, there's one here as well. Just can't see it. It's all like gunked up and stuff. But that is, make no mistake, a line. So I'll take them both off and show you. But that's, you know, I've just got a normal tool in there, socket, so you can too. Alrighty, so turbo feed lines are out. Everything else for the most part is out. Get myself some space. And now the turbo is hanging loose. I'm pretty sure. Oops, I forgot one bolt over here. That connects the hard line up to the oil feed over here. So just loosen that with some, I don't know, 6mm hex bolts or hex sockets. So to get that little small bolt off the bracket, off of the line, feed an extension from just about there underneath the. Be careful of the heater hoses, but just work your way in, and the bolt's just there. And so you just crack that and loosen it up. So that support line hex bolt is off. Yeah, we're gonna go to the other side. I've spent what, maybe 2.5 hours so far around there, piss fighting around, and then just remove the turbo. So I'm going to remove the twisty turbo around and then take it out from the top on this side here. And what I might do, so it doesn't scratch anything, just cover that. Wish me luck. Fail there. I need to take out this hose from the N75 to the turbo, so it knows how much pressure is coming from the turbo. So remove that clip, feed it through the little I don't know what this is, metal support. You can just cut it off if you want, but I'm going to take it out this way. Boost pressure hose is off. Time to get the turbo out. Here we go. Okay, remember this needs to go in like that. And then you're gonna have to do some magic. Now, check it out. The turbo is out. That took a little bit longer, about 20 minutes to sort of. You've got to keep clocking the turbo around until you find to get the exhaust side out, and then it sort of bends all the other stuff out along with it. Biggest pain in the ass is the turbo bracket. Yeah, that just hits everything. So yeah, that's the turbo K03 K03 022 or something like that. It has a pretty good nick, needs to clean up obviously, but has 10 fins. K03s from Polo A3 TT has 8 fins. That's how you can tell. The inducer is I'm going to say a little bit bigger, produces a little bit better flow, but still doesn't have that top end that a K04 will have, but definitely, you know, an upgrade from the K03. So that's the update there. I'm going to take a break, come back and transfer all the hardware across. I'm going to go drop this off to get it welded. Yeah, so when you get to this stage, give yourself a pat in the back. Right, so we're going to transfer some hardware across. We might start with the coolant, oil feed. So just take these two nuts off. Don't know how big they are. I think they're a hex key. This might work. Yep. Crack it off, transfer it, and off we go. Alright, so that's done. The next is the water feed. So this is one big hex bolt, 6mm I think, or a bit larger, and then a small one on the side. Big, small, and then this comes out. So, and then you just transfer one thing at a time. So I'll do that now and update you guys. Alright, so got the coolant feed off. Coolant feed, yeah, looks like the coolant feed. So if there is a banjo bolt, you're going to have to replace the washers. It's always good practice. Might be able to get away with reusing that one, but I'm going to use some brand new ones. Now you're going to need two, one for the top seal, one for the bottom seal. Nope. Just hop on eBay. I mean, I bought this, you know, 3 turbos ago, and it's still going strong. Finally, I think that's the one. Oh, it is the one, but it's bent. Darn it, eBay. So it doesn't help that I mixed everything together. Too big. Ooh. Look at me getting excited about washers. No. Hey, alright, that's going to fit. So, one for the top, one for the bottom, and that's how it's going to provide the seal. Alright, so I'm going to whack that on and come back. Alrighty, back again. Phone's running out of battery, but all the hardware's off it now. Oil and coolant lines are off. Boost pressure line, or sorry, wastegate line is off. Yeah, so I'm going to prepare the inlet hose so that it can go on at the same time. I think I've got to cut these down to size, and might have to chop off a bit from the big side as well to accommodate the airbox. But yeah, should be all good. So we're ready to put the turbo back in its place, spinning freely, no bent fins, no play or barely any play. Positioned the inlet pipe to be where it needs to be, and now it's just a matter of reinstalling it. Alrighty, so I'm going to reinstall the manifold gasket, and also make sure that the turbo gaskets are ready to go. Yeah, because I'm going to need them to reinstall back onto the manifold. So speaking of which, where is it? Ah, there it is. It's the old gasket. This thing is going to hold the turbo, so I'll leave that there and ready to go. Right, so I'm going to give it a go and install it this way down, and if I need to I could just turn and clock the turbo around to be the right side. So here we go. Alrighty, so turbo's in its place, roughly around there. Doesn't have to be you know, 100%, but yeah, it's that's roughly where it's going to sit, so that the manifold's going to bolt onto the exhaust part, so you can spin start spinning the turbo. That's going to stick up and connect up to the charge pipe. This is a little bit different. This is because it came from a different car, and that car model year decided to put on a muffler. Doesn't bother me. And the bottom part should connect up to the down pipe, which is currently not in the car at the moment. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and start connecting the turbo up to the manifold. Okay, that's what it looks like. I tilted it in. Didn't get a video of it because my camera phone's dying. So yeah. Right, so I'm going to reverse the process now. Alright, so I've got under the car. I'm going to attempt to mount up the turbo brackets to the body using these two hex bolts. Gonna need 2 hands for sure. So yeah, look, I did say I was going to put the manifold on, but I think the easier way here is to at least lightly screw the turbo on to the nuts. At least you'll have some support from the bottom to get it all lined up, since there's no downpipe down here to assist you. So I'm gonna attempt to do that now, and you can join the fun. Righto, so the turbo's onto the block from the bracket. I had one hand holding the turbo. It's a bit heavy, but you can do it. And then one hand just screwing it in bit by bit. So now it's on enough. Still a bit loose, so you can, you know, wiggle your way around. And what I might do here is install the inlet pipe, since the turbo is really loose and there's a lot of room. So get back on top and do that first before I do the manifold. Righto, so the inlet pipe is on. Tell you what, when the turbo's loose, it's so easy to get on. So she's on now, and I'm going to tighten it up and start putting on the lines at the top. So we're at the top of the car now. We're just going to try and install the what looks like the that looks like an old okay, what looks like the old the oil feed. Okay, gonna line up the two. That's gonna be a pain in the ass, but that's what it looks like. You might have to lift up the turbo to get the oil feed in, and off we go. Alright, so getting this banjo bolt on was the biggest pain in the ass, but can't believe I've forgotten that. Luckily I've got all this loose, the turbo loose still. Need to line up the that washer onto the hole. You've got to sort of pull the turbo in and out to try and reach it. Pain in the ass, but I got it done. Everything else should just line up pretty simple. That's easy. The other lines are easy at the bottom. One to the block is pretty easy. The next semi-hard one, or challenging one, I would say, is the manifold to the turbo bolts. So before putting on all the bolts, leave it loose, line up the turbo, and then you start to do it from there. But we're almost home. Another maybe two and a half hours to go, which I'll continue on, and yeah, so coming along nicely. And the inlet hose is in. Yep, there you go. That's going to be easier to install other stuff. Okay, that's how the that's how the gasket sits. Yeah, so I'm going to put the manifold on now, and hopefully the gasket doesn't fall off. Righto, so manifold's sitting on very loosely. You don't need to tighten anything up. Important part here is to get this to try and line up with manifold. So try and do that as much as possible. There's a bit of slack in the turbo, so you can move it around a little bit, so I'm going to have to use two hands, strong arm it in, and start the threads by hand. So fingers crossed. Alrighty, just a warning guys, these 3 bolts were a pain in the ass to do. It took me 20 minutes to just thread them on, but they're on now, quite loose. They are holding up the turbo. They are attached to the gasket, so now I can get started on actually I might be able to just tighten them down a little bit, and then work on the manifold. Work on the manifold nuts. Oh my goodness. So yeah, let's get cracking. Alrighty, back again. What I did was I started all the threads on each corner and just tightened them up to make sure that it wasn't catching on anything. So every corner of the manifold is now in and pretty tight. Now it's just a matter of doing them one by one, and I'll leave the torquing to do last. But yeah, manifold's on guys. Give yourselves another clap on the back if you're up to this stage, because yeah, the hard part's almost over. So alrighty, let's keep going with the nuts. Alrighty guys, we have the manifold bolts on, all of them except for one. This one's really hard to get to. I don't know how to get this washer back on again. I think from memory I just super glued the washer onto the nut, and I'm going to now attempt to feed it through so at least it stays, because if you look at where if you look at where the nut is, or where you're supposed to go, actually it's in between all this, and you can't even see it. Like it's in between. You got to get up above that banjo bolt and then weave your way into the nut. So that's going to be a tough one. And it's going to hang out there, but yeah, just going to have to give it a go. So this is the last bolt. I've managed to get it threaded somehow. Can't even see it, just did it by feel. And yeah, she's on, so I'm going to try and get a wobbly bit in there and tighten the last nut up, and that's going to be the end of the manifold. So after that, we're now able to just start putting on the downpipe back on again. I was going to get the cat welded on, but because it's COVID, no one's really open, and I need a TIG welder. Unfortunately, I can't do it, so I'm going to put this stock, the decat back on, and yeah, finish putting everything back together again. So getting excited now. I've spent another what, 2 hours. Got the manifold on, got the turbo on. To the manifold, got all the nuts back on, and I'm about to do the last nut. So yeah, probably another couple of hours to put everything back on again. Alrighty, so everything's back on again. I'm as in like all the nuts are on for the manifold. I'm now going to torque down the 17mm using a socket and wrench. And this is the manifold to turbo bolts. So get one of these, get one of these, and that should be good. Alright, here we go. Righty, bolts are tightened on. I'm gonna go underneath the car now with my 17. A wrench, power tool, step up, and there's the, now I've already tightened the bolts to go to the turbo, so that's all good. I'm going to give all this a clean once I put everything back together again, but yeah, she's coming along nicely. So yeah, downpipe time, and go from there. So you've seen the downpipe video before, I'm not going to do it again. Have a look at that if you want more help with it. So I'll cut to when I've got the downpipe on, so it should be another half an hour or so. Right, so downpipe's on, just got to align the bolts and tighten them up again. So yeah, I'll do that now and cut back to when it's all installed. Righty, so downpipe is on, and I think we're on the home stretch now, guys. So I'm going to put a few more brackets in down below, and yeah, the bottom bit should be done. So continue on. For the induction stuff, charge pipes, you know, all that stuff has to go back on, but it should be done by today. So what time is it now? So I spent another 2.5 hours, so probably another, you know, another hour should be done. So it's about 9 hours is pretty bang on if you're a novice like me. But yeah, I'll put it all together and show you the finished product. Alrighty, so downpipes in, yeah, just the bottom parts are in. I'm chucking on the charge pipe now that goes to the pancake, so I'm just going to snake it in and then tighten it up from below. Hopefully it's still there. I think it is. Yep, that should be the clip for it. So yeah, actually I'm going to show you underneath, give you a nice view of the pipe. Alrighty, so got the pancake pipe connection back on again, got the C clamp on, got the clamp to the block on, so that's pretty much done for the bottom half. I'm going to look for the heat shield for the hose and work it back on, and that should be good to go. I found a heat shield, but it wasn't for the bottom hose, it's for the top hose. So yeah, we're going to reconnect the top charge pipe now to the turbo, and yeah, first we're going to connect up the clamp to the body, to the block. Okay, it's going to sit like that, and the other clamp goes on top to hold down the charge pipe, so that when the engine moves, yeah, it's not hitting anything. So alrighty, keep going. Alrighty guys, charge pipe is on. I'm missing a bracket here, but that's okay. Don't need it anyway. Yeah, so charge pipe to the elbow is connected to the turbo. So that's all looking a bit more normal now. I've still got the airbox to connect up to with all the other stuff in between, but yeah, it's coming along. Looks like I think I'm going to tackle the airbox next, along with all the accessories on the silicone inlet hose. So can't wait. On the home stretch now, guys, and if you are up to this part, you're well and truly finished. It's just, yeah, pretty much putting the basics back together. I'm going to do a few other steps. I'm going to update the engine speed sensor, cam sensor, refresh all of those things while I'm here, and when the throttle body comes, I'm going to do the throttle body too. But yeah, very exciting. It's coming up to about 8.5 hours now. Spent another start at 1, it's another 3 hours, 2.5 yesterday, that's 5.5, and then 1.5 day before, 7, about 8 hours. So yeah, about 9 hours and you should have all this together. So yeah, I'll keep soldering on and come back with another update. Alrighty, so everything's back on for the most part. Got the N75 back on. Got the diverter valve back on. Got the hockey puck back on. Got the diverter valve, vacuum hose, vacuum boost hose back on. I have to zip tie that one down. And diverter valve, pressure hose back on. So everything's back on. Just need to pop this back on. Also, if you're running a silicone hose like I am, this hose is shared with the more later version or European version or even American version, where they had secondary air intake injection system which connects up onto this, but we don't have it, so I've blocked it off with a nice little stainless steel bolt, you know, torqued it in, and just put a clip around it. So, but that's, yeah, next is airbox, and yeah, almost good to go. Alrighty guys, so we're back again, everything's back together, connected. As usual, the hockey puck and diverter valve does not line up, so you have to get creative here. And I chopped off a bit off the inlet hose. I knew from experience that it was probably 1.5 centimeters too long, so instead of cutting it on the car, I cut it off the car, and so that part's good. Yeah, you just got to sort of stretch the hoses a bit to get it on, but later on down the track, replace this hose and you should be good as gold. This is the only hose here that's sort of causing the issues, and I've got a hose, I just don't have enough clips, so I'll run this setup for a while, and yeah, we're pretty much done. Turbo's back in. Just got to get down now and put the heat shield back on, and I'll show you what it looks like down below with everything connected. There we go, downpipes on, hard lines on. Just make sure that there's no leaks, but it should be good. So I'll put the heat shield back on and call it a day, I think. Yeah. Alrighty guys, new day today. I filled it up with fluids, oil. I'm using Nulon, some Australian stuff, really good. 530 European, VW approved, recommend it. And same thing with the Nulon red stuff. Don't put anything else. Either make sure it's pink or make sure it's VW approved. I've left the ignition control coil module off. So this thing here that connects up to the, funnily enough, this connects up to the all of the coils. So by disconnecting this, I don't let this car start. So what I'll do here is now give it a prime. So I'm going to start it maybe 2 to 3 times just to make sure the oil is circulating through to the keys, to the turbo, just enough to get it going, and then we'll give it a start. Hopefully it's got enough battery. So here we go. Three. So now I'd say that's enough to get it primed, but I'm going to check through all of the connection first, reconnect the engine control, ignition control module, and yeah, it should be all good to go. So give that a go now. Right, so first start after it's primed. She's alive. She is alive. So there's going to be a lot of smoke coming out because you've used a lot of WD-40 degreaser. Oh, I use a lot of degreaser, brake cleaner, WD-40, you name it, it's all over the engine, front, back, side. So that's going to create a lot of smoke. I would just let it run for the next, 10-15 minutes, let it get hot. Check, drop the, before you drop the car, make sure the heat shield's back on. Drop the car, check the fluids again, and then you're almost ready to go for a test drive. So looks like the engine speed sensor's working, that's good. Turbo's in, charge pipe's in, fluid smoking now a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on camera. All looks XT8, brand new, love it. I'm going to give the car engine bay a detail after this, but I knew I was going to do an engine swap, so I didn't bother cleaning it, because it's all going to get, you know, caked up anyway. So now it's a good time to clean it all up. So yeah, she's smoking real bad now. This always happens when you do a turbo swap. I've done, this is my third one now. Every turbo I've swapped has started smoking, so don't be alarmed. It's just all the excess WD-40, degreaser and everything else that we've used is coming off right now. So I'm going to chuck the engine cover back on, and yeah, call it a day. Just want to say thanks everyone for watching, and yeah, if you're up to this part, that means that you're well and truly finished, and congratulations. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching. I don't normally say this, but make sure you subscribe, it's going to help the channel. But yeah, thanks a lot. See you in the next video.